Muni Buddha, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.
Yeah. You done for today?
Yeah, we just had one person who needed to come in on the weekend, so just treated them, and now I'm all done.
Okay, good. All right, let's just move on to our discussion. Let's see here. Go to wheel.
Yes, thầy. The Buddha said to the Bodhisattva, constellation king flower, what do you think? Is it Bodhisattva gladly seen by all living beings, someone unknown to you? It is in fact none other than the present Bodhisattva medicine king. He cast aside his body as an offering expression immeasurable hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of nayutas of times. Constellations, king flower. If there are those have made up their mind and wish to gain a Nutara somebody, they could do well to burn a finger or one to get food as an offering to their food as an offering to the Buddha towers. It is better than offering one's dreams and cities, wife and children, or the mountain, forest, river, and lakes in the land of thousand millions fold world, or 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 all their precious treasure. Even if a person were to fill the whole thousand million fold world with the seven treasure as an offering to the Buddha and the great Bodhisattvas, Pratika Buddhas, and Arhats. The benefit gained by such a person cannot match those who gain by accepting and upholding this Lotus Sutra. Even just one four-line verse of it, the latter brings most numerous blessing of all. So that I understand that in this part of Lotus Sutra, the Buddha told to the constellation king flowers that the Bodhisattva gladly seen by all living beings, he offering his body and for those who wish to gain a Nuttara Samkhya Sambodhi, they would burn a finger or one tooth or their foot as an offering to the Buddha towers. It is better than offering the city or wife or children or the mountain, the forest, river, and lakes in the land of thousand million fold world. Even if a person were to fill the whole thousand million fold world with seven treasure as an offering to the Buddha and great Bodhisattvas, Prataka Buddhas and Arahats, the benefit gained by such a person cannot match with those who gain by accepting and upholding this Lotus Sutra. Even just one four-line verse of this Lotus Sutra. Yeah, I did a
So what do you think in the Buddhist Sutra is that it's better than offering the ram, city, wife, and children? So in the past, the men have the power to offer or to do anything with wife and children. Is that right?
Mm, I think this is all of this represent the external
Mm.
of oneself, including their body.
Mm. And so this part is say that he offer in this passion doesn't mean he but yeah he offer his body so many times, right? Limitless times in the past. Yeah. So uh, what do you think, William, when it mentioned about offering the wife and children in this modern age? Is this outdated? What do you think about this?
Well, I find myself whenever I read that part, when Samaya is around or Lisa is around, I'm a little self-conscious, but they've never asked me about it, so I've never had to explain anything around it. I generally wonder, like, how would one's wife or children even be offered to the Buddha way? Would it be like, all right, before my wife was helping to like cook food for our family and clean the house, now I'll become a monk and she's going to cook for the temple and clean the temple, and my children will become monks as well? Is that what it's implying?
Mm. Kind of, yeah. Mm. Tammy, it look odd, right, when you read this passage, right, Tammy?
Yeah, I don't like hearing that. It's just completely despicable to me in my mind.
I know.
But unfortunately, I don't really think it's outdated for us here in America. Yes, it's outdated, but there's so many other countries out there where this is still kind of a common practice, I believe.
Yeah, thầy giáo pháp. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, more about I think it's this is because in the Bodhisattva way we have six parameter, and the first parameter is generosity, or we call it given. Um, in order to perfect the given, so they have to give up everything, include the wife and the children and everything. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that. That means the Bodhisattva, when he practiced the Bodhisattva way, along the way he have many followers, include the relative, the family, all those things, and all the people who want to become his wife or his children. They are the one who make the vow to be like that. I will tell you this. I will tell you the story in the past. In the past, there were the former. The Buddha formalized in the past when he practiced the Bodhisattva way, right? And there were one. There were during that time there was the Buddha appear in the world, and he that means the former life the Buddha he practiced very diligently in the mountain, and he had five spiritual psychic power. And when he heard that, he came down and he took a long walk before he be able to come and see the Buddha. But when he come and see the Buddha and he have nothing to offer to the Buddha, so what he did is he tried to find the lotus flower so he can be able to offer to the Buddha. And you know what? During that time, the king also ordered that. Gathering all the lotus flower to make prepare for offering to the Buddha and the Sangha. And you know what? And there were the princess. There were the princess that um, the king want to offer the princess to him as the wife. And you know what? He reject. He said that I am the one who practiced the Bodhisattva way, and I don't want to have any kind of belonging like this. It would be the obstacle for me on the way. So And later on, he want to find out where is the lotus flower he can buy. He can use that to offer to the Buddha. And you know what? He could not be able to see it, but on the way he walked, he saw this princess and the one holding the 7 lotus flower. And he asked the princess that, may I buy from you the lotus flower? And she said no. Um, and you know what? And she said that if you want all these things, I can give you for free. But with one condition. And you know what she said? She said that I want to become your wife. Okay? And the Bodhisattva said that no, I am the one who practiced the Bodhisattva. I don't want to have this kind of obstacle on my way. But if you want to have a flower, I will give you for free so you can offer to the Buddha. But the condition is I want to be your wife. And you know what? The Bodhisattva said that if you want to become my wife, you know that I am going to give up everything, include you, include my children. If you willing to accept that vow and you want to support me on the way, along the way, yes, I will take you as my wife. And you know what she did? She said yes. And you know what? From now to the future life, many future life, I will do all these things. And if when I do that, you should not have any remorse or regret. And you know what? She said that I make the vow that I will be the one who support you all the way to the until you become the Buddha. So what does that mean? When the Bodhisattva make the vow to offer the wife, the children, or whatever, these people already make the vow to be a part of the Bodhisattva practice, given the generosity of paramita. So when we look at current condition, it is very weird. But if you look at deep into the past, the process of the past, it's not real. Everything have a meaning. Everything have a reason for it. Does it make sense, William?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So when he offered the wife or the children, actually the Buddha in the past he did this many times, and you know what? The wife and the children is very happy to do so. They no protest. Because they know that when the Bodhisattva do this, they will gain a lot of blessing.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for explanation. But let's put this way: forget about one children. Even when we give up something that we cherish much, the simple things like the cars, like the house, right? In this modern age, it's almost impossible, right, William? Offer or give the house for free unless they are our close relatives, their wife, children, husband, even brother, sister, and so forth, right? Otherwise, there's no way in this society, right, William? To give the house for free.
And for the average American, no, I wouldn't think so. Someone who's really wealthy and could afford to just buy another house, and if they're very devout, there are probably some who still do that. But man, if I were to give up my house, it would kind of mess up my retirement plans. So yeah, I don't think it's not common.
But recently, if you read and follow the news about the war in Europe, some people they allow the refugees to stay at their hotel for free. Even of course, even they don't give everything, but they just let refugees to stay there. The hotel, apartment, especially in Poland, in Europe. Cô Thông Nguyễn, you are aware of that, right? You live there, you are aware of that?
Yes, sir.
So
a
you
lot
say
of people do that.
The school too, right? The school horse, the refugee too, right? You say that right?
Yes. So in here, in the Dutch tradition, in the house there is always one room for visitor,
Oh.
and they left that room only for family or friends to visit. So many people in here they do this today because um, the 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 refugee camp is not built enough yet.
Mm.
So there are people voluntarily offer these places for 1 or 2 nights, and then other people come.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, probably in the critical times, or in the war times, people may step out of their shell to offer.
Yeah, and I do think that not many people do this.
Oh,
Yeah, not many people choose this voluntary because they really respect their own privacy,
oh,
and only small amount of people who accept this, and they can register, and then the government will send these people to their home. But all of this is under the regulation of the government for the safety of the owner. Yeah.
It's not easy. Yeah, not easy when you host a stranger
Yes, indeed.
from other country, right?
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Anyway, one thing I want to mention when relate to this passage is that in one particular sutra, it mentioned about how the mothers affect directly to the fetus and vice versa. And if the mothers have the good thought, a positive thought, it will affect positively to the fetus or wife before they were born. And it relates to Mahaya Buddhist vows. Uh, I think you know, right, William, the Brahmana Sutra, right?
Yes.
The Bodhisattva vows. One of the vows is that we made the vows to follow Buddhism, to follow Mahayana Buddhist tradition, to follow the good noble advisor, and so forth. Whatever you can say that, right? So, uh, in one way, if the parents or the mother, or actually they put this way for this real story. You know my grandmaster, right? Su Yun, right? So his parents were both 40s. They didn't have any children yet. So that's why they went here and there to pray to have, and later on they have him up to, I mean, that when they were more than 40 years old. And according to the Buddhist tradition, that's only, especially for the sages, the holy monks, or the great cultivators, they would find seek or even vows to be born in the sincere Buddhist families so that they can get some type of support later on. So it has to be matchable. So the cultivators made the vows to be born in the sincere Buddhist families so that they can get the support in their cultivation. Like your public mentioned about the wife and children of our Buddha. And on the other hand, it should be compatible. That's the parents, right? Especially the mom made the vows that they would host, you can say that, and the great Buddhist monk cultivators, Buddhist Sapa, who want to be born in that families. And actually, there's one Zen story. I don't know whether you know or not. That a Zen monk, when he met his master, and somehow he has some awakening. By that time, he's too old. And one day he passed by a house. Uh, he met that young lady, and he mentioned, can I stay at your house for a night? And she said, of course, yes. And after that, he passed away. And suddenly she got pregnant. and somehow how his born were born. Yeah. So you know about the story, William? No?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. Tammy, it's a funny story, Tammy.
I think you might have told this story before because her parents were so upset that it had happened, and didn't they disown her or something? And they didn't believe her either, that that she didn't partake in anything, any actions.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go against science, right? Right. Anyway, so it get the story. We don't know whether this is true or not, but still, the point I want to say is that for the highly achievement monks, nuns of Bodhisattva, they would like to be born in the sincere Buddhist families so that they can get the support from their own families, especially the parents. And again, it should be compatible. So that's why if we make the vows now, right, that no matter where we go, where we will study and practice under the good Novin advisor, not only this, I come to the nest, and we won't go astray. You feel that, William? You feel that you have some kind of vows in the past? Otherwise, it's not easy to stick with that, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I had some. I think I was probably a little distracted as well, right? Because I wanted to go to Talmadge for high school at the City of 10,000 Buddhas, and my mom was very supportive. We went out there, but then my dad would not let me go. And so my mom fought for custody, but custody, she didn't, I was like almost 18 by the time it was done. So I was pretty much done with high school, but she was very supportive. My dad wasn't. So, I guess I had some kind of mixed karma in that sense.
Okay. Yeah. So Cô Thông Nguyễn, you have that kind of strong feeling, right? Probably you may have made some kind of brave vows in the past, right?
Yes, I think so. My mom, she told me always that when she was kid, she always studied in the temple. So until she was group 9, so it was 12, she always studied in the temple together with my uncle. So she learned all the knowledge education from the nun. And now she also learning Buddhism. She also encouraged me a lot when I study about Buddhism. I think there is, I am happy that my mom supporting me learning the Buddhism, and also, but my father is not. So I think I also have mixed. My father never believed in anything, but only my mom, she was a Buddhist when she was kids, and my grandfather as well, her father. So my name, I born in their home when my mom was still living with her parents, and my grandfather gave me that real name. Actually, I will always feel really ashamed when I was kids because that name sounds really, for me when I was kids, that sound like a very old lady name. But yeah, I do think that there is some vow probably that I took in the past, and therefore I am reborn in the family of my grandparent and my mom.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important. We have two choices: either let our karma to lead us to our future destination, or to make the vows to lead our own karma. I mean that we have control on our karmas. to the way that we want to go. That's on to the two choices. Tammy, you follow that, right, Tammy?
Yes. Yep. I think for sure for me, I must have made some kind of vows in the past as far as being kind to others and being generous and wanting to help other beings no matter what, because it seems it could, but I didn't have the wisdom to go along with it, where I had the generosity and the kindness, but people kind of like will walk all over you if you don't have the wisdom. So that part, so I think I must have made these vows, but I never like fell back on them. Like always, I would keep reaching out no matter what happened. So it kind of appeared that I was just being stupid, to keep giving like that. And then certainly when I turned 40, like on my 40th birthday, like I just felt like blinders coming off. I mean, just like in the pictures when I got the Dharma, like there's just pictures, and it literally on my 40th birthday, it just felt like that I just saw things I didn't see before. And then also with the birth of my children, like I felt like they actually, where I was born Catholic in a big Catholic family and was just surrounded by, this big Catholic community here, that after I had my children, that they really led me to the temple in their own way. So that it just seemed like it's all been kind of connected.
Yeah, it seems to me again, it's not only parents, but you may make the vows that your future spouse, your future children, your sibling, whoever you work with, whoever you live with, will support you in some way, right? So that is convenient for you to go forward. Okay, so yeah, let's just go on then. Okay, your Pháp, you have some vow like you said, right? So it's especially in the higher tradition. If you don't make the vow, it's not easy to move on. It's not easy to stick with our goal, to stick with our path. Okay. You have Tammy, sorry, go ahead. Next one, please.
Constellation Kingflower among all the rivers, streams, and other bodies of water. For example, the ocean is foremost. And this Lotus Sutra is likewise, being the most profound and greatest of the sutras preached by the thus come ones. Again, just as among the dirt mountains, black mountains, small iron encircling mountains, great iron encircling mountains, 10 treasure mountains, and all the other mountains, Mount Sumeru is foremost. So the Lotus Sutra is likewise. Among all the sutras, it holds the highest place. And just as among all the stars, and they're like the moon, a god's sun is foremost, so this Lotus Sutra is likewise. For among all the thousands, 10,000, millions of types, a sutra teaching, it shines the brightest. And just as the sun, a god's sun, banish all darkness, so too the sutra is capable of destroying the darkness of all that is not good. So this is just comparing the Lotus Sutra, showing how it's the most important sutra of them all. Just like the ocean's the most important water, and it just goes on and names different things, but emphasizing the importance of the Lotus Sutra.
Yeah, again, later on, if you read Dhamma Sutra, the Flower Adornment Sutra, or most of Mahayana Sutra, you may come across this type of similar ideas. That sutra is the foremost one. So I think we discussed before, right? Whether it's foremost or not, it depends upon our condition, our ability to understand. Right? You follow that, Tammy? So don't be confused when you read those sentences along with those sutra later on.
Right. Yeah, we discussed it before. They're just different kind of majors. If you look at college, they're different majors to get you to bring out the whichever one works best for you, really.
Yeah, William, please.
As among the petty kings, the wheel-turning sage king is foremost. So this sutra is the most honored among all the many sutras. As the Lord Chakra is king among the 33 heavenly beings, so this sutra likewise is king among all the sutras. And as the heavenly king, great Brahma, is the father of all living beings, so this sutra likewise is father of all sages. Worthies, those still learning, those who have completed their learning, and those who set their minds on becoming bodhisattvas. And as among all the ordinary mortals, the Srotapana, Sakritagamin, and Anagamin, Arhats and Pratyeka Buddhas are foremost. So this sutra likewise is foremost among all the sutra teachings preached by all the thus come ones. Preached by all the bodhisattvas, or preached by all the voice hearers and Pratyeka Buddhas. And in the same way, the sutra is foremost among all the sutra teachings. As the Buddha is king of the doctrines, so likewise the sutra is king of the sutras. So I think this also serves to help us really focus on the teachings present here as very important. Kind of like I can think about the future and I can discount the present moment for the future. But if I bring to mind that, this is the moment right now, then I really, become present now. And there's no other moment. So by saying this is the foremost sutra, it really encourages us to fully apply ourselves and to not feel like, something's missing, or to leave any room to not really delve into the sutra. Whereas, if we were studying the Diamond Sutra, then we should look at that as the foremost as well, because then it's going to call forth our greatest energy and commitment and concentration of practicing that because of the importance. I know people who do this too, where they'll say someone is their favorite, and then they'll say someone else is their favorite too. And that, they're both their favorite. My daughter does that a lot. She has a lot of favorites, and they all sincerely to her are her favorite. So it's an interesting kind of paradox.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, just more examples, more analogies. The analogy of the Sotapana, Sakritagamin, and Anagamin, I've forgotten. I think those are different stages along the path to arhatship, like maybe stream enterer, and one who only has so many births left, one who only has one birth left. And then is the Sakritagamin 7 births left, and Anagamin is 1 birth left?
Here, the first stage, Shota Panda, they have 7 lives left. Okay. And the Sakritagami have 1 life. Anagami, after they pass away, they attend Arhat. And Arhat, they attend this day, right here. Yeah. Okay. So remember last night we talked about the debate of the King Minenda, and mentioned about someone concerned about the timing, someone may not. And we talk about the sincere mind, right? If we live with the present moment, we will cherish that moment, and that moment go beyond times, right? Like you mentioned, right? If we really focus on the present moment of learning this sutra or any sutra, right? This is more, actually the foremost one too. Yeah. So in Buddhism, this go beyond time and space. If we limit with time and space, we could not recognize our mind. We will not live with present moment. Okay, so let's move on. And yeah, thầy giáo pháp, please.
The cons, can you make it bigger? So it's too small for me. Okay. I need to change my glasses, I guess. Okay, too big. To make it a 15 to 1. Okay, that's good. The constellation king flower. This sutra can serve all living beings. The sutra can cause all living beings to free themselves from suffering and anguish. The sutra can bring great benefit to living beings and fulfill their desire at a clear point. Uh, can satisfy all those who want thirsty. It is like a fire to one who is cold, a road to one who is naked, like a band of merchant fighting a leader, the child fighting its mother, someone fighting a ship in which to drown the water, a sick man fighting a doctor, someone in the darkness fighting a flame, the poor fighting the rich, the people fighting a ruler, and a traveling merchant fighting his way to the sea. Is it like a torch that banishes the darkness? Such is this Lotus Sutra. It can cause living being to cast off or darkness or sickness or and pain. It can uh, unloose the bond of the birth and death. Yeah, basically, so in here, it's using different kind of example to compare, right? So the one who is thirsty, when they see the water, that can satisfy for them. So basically, this one can help. The sutra can help to end all the suffering of the living being, and that means it's no more death and rebirth cycle, and because this one is help them to return to the Buddha nature. That means they can attain the Buddhahood, and that is the ultimate goal of this sutra. And that means the benefit is unbelievable.
Yeah, cô Thông Nguyễn, please.
Yes, if a person is able to hear this Lotus Sutra, if he copy it himself or cause others to copy it, the benefit he gains thereby will be such that even the Buddha wisdom could never finish calculating their extent. If one copies the sutra scroll and use flowers, incense, necklace, incense for burning, powder, incense, paste, incense, banners, canopies, ropes, various kinds of lamps such as lamps of butter oil lamps, lamps with various frustration oils, lamps of champaka oil, or lamp of navamalika oil. To make offerings to them, the benefits that he acquires will likewise be immeasurable. To summarize, I think this part, the Lotus Sutra teaches us that the benefit of offering the sutra and having respect to the teachings will bring these benefits that will be immeasurable.
Yeah.
By offering those flowers, incense, the oils, all of these represent the valuable wisdom that one can get from understanding this sutra compared with other materials in the world.
Yeah. So for us in this modern age, we can search for most of the sutra easily on our fingertips, but in the past it's not easy. I don't know whether you know the story about a Indian monk. He want to sneak out the Shurama Sutra. William, you recognize, right? Shurama Sutra, right? The
Oh yes, yes.
late to the Shurama mantra. You know that story? You know how he sneak out that sutra from India to China?
No,
I have not told you yet.
I don't think so.
Cô Thông Nguyễn, you know that story?
I think I watched the movie. They write it with their own blood and they put under the skin to cross the borders. Or yeah.
Yeah, actually. So for that sutra, at that time, it was the national treasure. So the king ordered that no one can take that sutra out of the country. If they do, they would be executed. So this monk, he's so dedicated that he really want to bring this sutra to China. So yes, he wrote this sutra on the silk, and he wrote it in a row. So what happened then? He's cut his tie and put that silk rolls into his thigh so that he could go through the custom. And when he got there, he met some Chinese officer that know how to work with chemicals. So they use some kind of chemical to clean up the blood, so that it will reveal the writing on the seal, scroll. You heard about this, Tammy?
Yeah, so he had a movie that he sent a link to, not, I don't know, about a year ago or something. I tried watching it, but I only made it through the first part. I couldn't watch it. It's too gory. Like, just seeing it. I couldn't handle it. But yeah, he did. He sent that movie over.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, thầy giáo Pháp, he sent you that link?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, so they make the movies of that?
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, give me the link. I don't know that. Wow. Yeah. But for the modern age people, it's go beyond our thinking, right? But for the people in the past, they could do anything with their sincere mind. Right? It's incredible. Yeah. That's why we still have the sutra nowadays to study. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me, please.
Constellation Kingflower. If there is a person who hears this chapter on the former affairs of the Bodhisattva Medicine King, he too will gain immeasurable and boundless benefits. If there is a woman who hears this chapter of the former affairs of the Bodhisattva Medicine King and is able to accept and hold it, that will be her last appearance in a woman's body, and she will never be born in that form again. If in the last 500-year period after the thus come one has entered extinction, there a woman who hears the sutra and carries out its practices as this sutra directs, when her life here on earth comes to an end, she will immediately go to the world of peace and delight, where the Buddha Matis dwells, surrounded by the assembly of great bodhisattvas, and there will be born seated on a jeweled seat in the center of a lotus blossom. He will no longer know the torments of greed, desire, anger, rage, stupidity, or ignorance, or the torments brought about by ignorance, by arrogance, envy, or other defilements. He will gain the Bodhisattva's transcendental powers and the truth of the birthlessness of all phenomena. Having gained this truth, his faculty of sight will be clear and pure. And with this clear, pure faculty of sight, he will see Buddhas and the thus come ones equal in number to the sands of Haven, 112,000 million notches of Ganges. Hold on just a minute.
But I just put on that.
So this is talking about how if a woman were to hear the sutra and understand it and practice it,
I just put my other arm in a hole.
and then she could be born, reborn through transformation to Amataba, the land of limitless light, and no longer have any torments of the greed, the anger, stupidity, or ignorance. So she would be born back into the pure land.
Thank you. So we talk about this, right? As long as we still live in this samsara, so one way and others, we will be born as male and female. But if we be born in the Western Pure Land, Pure Land of Buddhas, we would not have any more gender, right? In this Lotus, Amitabha Sutra, it mentioned that we were born in the lotus flowers. The lotus flower is our parents, and that when we were born, there's no gender at all. So we at first, when you encounter this type of passion, it's clear for you that we may be born without gender. What do you think?
It was not what struck me the most the first time I read the book. What sticks out in my mind still was the story of Sagara, the princess, the dragon princess, and Avalokiteshvara going under the ocean and all of that. That was pretty fantastic. I don't know. I think that I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it too much. It didn't strike me as like terribly unreasonable. Coming from being introduced to Pure Land Buddhism after having learned about Zen, I wasn't really drawn to the practice of recitation and with the intention to try to go to the Pure Land. And so I think when I read this part, I didn't think too much about it. It didn't shock me though. It seemed like somewhat reasonable.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think if we were born without gender? What do you think? Even in this world, what do you think then?
In this world, if everyone was born without gender, well, a lot of problems that exist wouldn't exist anymore. I mean, there's so much violence and pain that comes out of gender, and wanting to be with a certain person, getting to be with them but losing them, or not getting to be with them leaving and being with someone else, all of that sort of stuff. It would be completely different, because there wouldn't be a sexual part to it. So I think relationships would be different altogether, and the sort of clinging that goes along wouldn't be there. So I mean, the function of gender in this world is so that we can have children. Mm-hmm. But if we didn't need that to have children, then I think things could perhaps be more peaceful. Who knows, but in a Buddha realm, certainly, it's going to be more peaceful.
But human race maybe stop then, maybe end. we come to end if there's no offspring.
Yeah, what I mean, I was imagining that, well, if we're all genderless, then maybe we're all being born from lotus flowers here, you know, if that was happening. But yeah, there wouldn't be any more humans. I agree. Yeah, if we didn't have gender, unless we could reproduce asexually somehow. So.
Yeah.
But
So
in
then-
but in the form ram, I don't think they have gender.
they still have gender. Yeah, they still have the thought of gender. You know, form of formless God too. So tell me, could you imagine that we're born in the lotus flowers and there's no gender at all? What do you think, Tammy?
So at first it was really confusing to me, but of course, the more I hear it, the easier it is to understand. And now, you know, it's very acceptable to me. And I agree with everything he just said, you know, especially if we had that here, everything would be a lot more peaceful, because when you're dealing with the genders, you know, males are, you know, conditioned to be one way and females are conditioned to be another way. So if you were all, there was no gender, then you wouldn't have any of these kind of preconditionings for people to, you know, to be, for the females to be jealous and for the males to be kind of cutthroat and conquer. So if you could take out, you know, and everybody was just the same, then you wouldn't have a lot of these negative types of conditionings, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, how about cô Thông Nguyễn? Could you imagine that you were born in that realm? No gender at all? It solve a lot of problem like William and Tammy say.
Yes, I think so. Lately in the company, they are talking about the area where, so if people go to the restroom, men go there and women go here. So lately they even make another one saying no gender restroom. And it's raised already a lot of questions and discussion. But I think slowly, yeah, I think then people will have more time to practice the Dharma instead of being distracted by other genders. And also with gender inequality in the world, it's really not good. Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm surprised that in Europe, right, they have what you call unisex restroom, right?
Yeah.
In America, there's no way. Have you heard about that, William, in America? In America, do they have unisex restroom?
Yeah, there some places it'll just say there'll be a sign where it's the symbol of a, like the man-woman symbol, but it's cut down the middle, and
Really?
one half man, one half is
Yeah.
woman, and they have the arms up, and then it says "Who cares?"
Yeah.
Where, where is that?
Some restaurants I've been to, I can't remember which one. You're not going to find it outside of cities. Like the sort of non-gender specific restrooms generally happen in cities, and they're always single person restrooms, like one person at a time. I've never seen a gender neutral restroom where more than one person goes in at a time with like stalls lined up. I've never seen that.
I see. I see. That makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Yeah. 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 Some gas station they have only one restroom, so they have the keys for one person at a time. That's all. Well, understandable. When I'm talking about the big restroom, the airport, school, the public places, no way, right?
No, never. I haven't seen that. Yeah.
No, in Sweden, if you at the time you arrive in the airport, yeah, you have no choice. They only have this kind of restroom. So
Really?
yeah,
In Sweden?
in Sweden, everywhere today, everywhere, the airport, school, public, restaurants,
Wow.
they accept the gender neutral long time ago.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more days.
Yeah, it's really peaceful over there. Really, I think that country, many heaven beings live there. Yes.
That's nice then. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on then. Yeah, William, please. Yeah.
At that time, Buddhas will join him, praising them from afar, saying, "Excellent, excellent, good man. In the midst of the law of Shakyamuni Buddha, you have been able to accept, uphold, read, recite, and ponder the sutra, and to preach it for others. The good fortune you gain thereby is immeasurable and boundless. It cannot be burned by fire or washed away by water. Your benefits are such that 1,000 Buddhas speaking all together could never finish describing them. Now you have been able to destroy all devils and thieves, to annihilate the army of birth and death, and all others who bore you enmity or malice have likewise been wiped out." So imagine the last part, where all of those that bore you enmity or malice have been wiped out. It's meaning that that malice and enmity has been transformed, so that there are no longer beings that wish harm upon oneself, as opposed to them being somehow destroyed. And just saying that, practicing the sutra, accepting the teachings, being mindful of them, going back to the sutra, engaging with it regularly, sharing it with others, gives these boundless benefits. This good fortune that can't be described, can't be destroyed. So it's another encouragement to fully practice the sutra by highlighting the benefits. So, we have the idea of the carrot and the stick approach. The stick approach is like, if you don't do this, bad things are going to happen. But this is very much the carrot approach. If you do this, then indescribably good things will happen.
So this is just the encouragement, right? If you do this, you have the good retributions, good result, and so forth. So what do you think? Is appeal to common people like us? Is appealing?
I think so, absolutely, because I myself have taken actions in the past that were greedy and hurtful to other people, and still occasionally do things that make my wife really angry at me. And so there's not that bad, it's not like that I would end in the hells for, but that the compassion of the Buddhas, that there is a way to overcome those limitations, to transform our mind, and to free ourselves from these painful cycles, is appealing, is encouraging.
I don't know whether you know the story of a layman in Zen tradition. After he had some kind of awakening, he threw away everything. His gold, his money, his wealth to the river route, or to the river. He dumped everything. And because Zen tradition, it talk about detachment. All right, so is that an opposite idea of this kind of sutra? What do you think?
Is it an opposite idea? I think the sutra makes it clear that if one were to offer everything to the Buddhas, that's not appropriate, that there are blessings that come from that. To throw it all into the river, to me, it seems like there could be abuse, because there are people who could be benefited from it. So that part doesn't seem to be as fully in line with some of the ideas in the sutra. But and compassion. So I think it would have been better for him to think, oh, hey, I could use this to help people. But I'm not enlightened, so I don't know. The enlightened person sees done something and I do, so perhaps it wasn't a waste.
Sorry, somehow probably because of the internet connection, so we could not hear you much. The sound is broken. Sorry. Anyway, so here it mentioned that the benefit of those who recite, practice this sutra, and who follow this kind of Bodhisattva.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, this is incredible. But in the Zen tradition, even in the Theravada tradition, you need to let go of everything. You need to detach everything. So that layman, the rich layman, he rather to dump everything down to the river instead of giving others. So that's why I want to emphasize. I want to bring up so that we can see here the Buddha, like you say, using the stick and carrot, right? Principle. But in Zen tradition, who cares about the karma, good karma, bad karma? I still have some kind of attachment. So my point is that, again, sorry, somehow your sound is broken. So can you repeat again what the idea?
Yes, certainly. Is it better now?
Yeah, better. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I was saying that it seemed like a waste because that's all of this stuff still has value. There are so many people who he could have helped. There are people who didn't have enough money for food, who needed medicine, who needed all sorts of things. So in a way, throwing all of the stuff away could be seen in a sense as kind of being self-centered because he's only thinking about his like desire to get rid of stuff and to be free of it rather than to think about what it could mean for other people. So that's where mine goes with it. My mind goes, but in the state of enlightenment, I don't know. Maybe it seems like it was a waste though.
Mm-hmm. And it relates to a story I read. A highly recognized monk in Thailand. 1,000 people respect him, and some of them request or ask him to build a school for the poor children. He say, no, I just focus on my practice. What do you think?
It seems like once people start asking you to do that sort of stuff, I think it's a message that your practice is bearing fruits. And that it would be good to use that influence to benefit others, because how did that monk come to his practice? Like, how did he learn about Buddhism and how did he develop the desire to devote himself so fully? If he feels that there's value in it, then to think about other people and how could he help connect them with that, then he's like taking the steps on of developing bodhicitta and compassion and really moving into the bodhisattva way.
So that big difference between Theravada and Mahayana. And Theravada is such a focus on self-cultivation, they may not care much about communities. That's made difference. Yeah. Go Thang Nguyen, you attend some 10 days of mindfulness practice, right? You mentioned before, right?
Yes, in these traditions, they only ask to focus on our own peaceful mind. And there is no Buddha or Bodhisattva around, no Amitabha Buddha land. Yeah, so I think the two traditions has some difference there. But I do think that in Mahayana Buddhism, we learned that they said supporting the sentient beings then we already offering to the Buddha. So I think yeah, since the Sakyamuni Buddha, he represents the Buddha community. So his life on earth was the way for human being to practice, but as we learned that at the moment he got enlightenment when he put the ball under the water, the ball was, he asked if this is the place where many Buddha has become the Buddha before, then the ball run against the water. So there was have been more Buddhas became the Buddha on earth before him. So there should be a community of Buddhas, and he one of them. And yeah, some people see the Buddha tradition only through Sakyamuni body. Then yeah, they think that's all. But I do think that there are more. Just like when we are going to work, we have our colleagues, or we have our group leads, the CEO. The company connect to something much higher beyond our knowledge. So we should respect that and work. We work in our certain way and standard, but we are connected to something higher. So the same with Buddha and the Buddha nature and the universe. I think there's a different point of perspective when they learn in Dharma. That's what I understand.
Yeah, let's say you may feel that, oh, I just need 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, even 1 year to attend some sort of awakening, but somehow someone call you, please help us to practice, please guide us and so forth. Would you forsake that time period for yourself, for those people who really need your help at that moment, if you really know that you have only short periods of time to attend some sort of awakening? Would you sacrifice that time period for them, for your own awakenings?
I think it really helped these people to become the Buddha in the future. If I not help them, they will it take them also much longer, and I need to come back to save them. So rather save them now.
Yeah, Tammy, you understand the question, right, Tammy?
Yes, I understand the question. I'd like to say, oh, sure, of course I'd help them. But the reality of it, you wouldn't know until you're put in that position. But yeah, my first instinct to say, oh yeah, I'd forgo it and help them first, but I'm not for sure.
Sometimes, like William, sometimes we encounter that type of situation, right? We need to postpone something, right? So that we compromise with other people, so that we can have them move along with our life, right?
Yeah, I wanted to join the meditation retreat this past winter, and my wife didn't want me to. She wanted me to stay home. I wanted to go do like a Zen retreat too, and she wants me to stay home to be available. And so I think if I could really put my foot down and I could say, hey, I'm going, deal with it. But it seems like it would cause more conflict, and so I try to minimize that conflict as much I can. So yeah, I mean, I get it on kind of a smaller scale. She's not asking me to really help, but asking, in a way, she's asking me to help. She doesn't want me to be gone. She wants me to be around. She wants me to kind of help with normal daily stuff.
So, yeah, we can make that kind of compromise and help her bit a bit, right? Otherwise, even you enjoy some moment of your meditation session at the temple, what happens when you get back? Will be the mess, everything may be worse, right?
Yeah. She's not happy. There's no happiness for me, so.
Yeah, we need to have some kind of compromise. All right, so time is up now. Yeah, thank you, please.
Yes, sir. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha.
Beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you, Thầy, and everyone.